right stuff? Do you have the right stuff? The right stuff, the right stuff. Tell me, do you have the right stuff? Do you have the right stuff? The right stuff.
I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome back to The Right Stuff. I'm hosting from our studio where we broadcast our radio show, Conversations Live, but you will see me throughout this show. First, I want to say thank you for the support of the first online episode of The Right Stuff. According to your response, we are fulfilling our goal of promoting the importance of reading and introducing you to those who are finding success and who are eager to share their journey with you. Keep in mind that we will also be introducing you to a cast of writers later in the season who will compete in order to find out who among them have the right stuff. So let's get started. Our first guests are two best-selling authors who have found success both individually and together. Oh yeah, did I mention that they were also husband and wife? Stephen Barnes and Tananarive Dew have now teamed up with Blair Underwood to write the Tennyson Hardwick series. In this discussion, they share their thoughts on both their careers and success. Tananarive, I want to go to you about career, amount of time. I think you said that you've been full-time now for about 11 years?
Yes.
All right. In that time, we've seen a lot of authors come and go. What is it you think about yourself as a writer that not only has given you staying power, but also keeps people looking for you? I mean, people are always looking for the next book by you or the next, part that you're going to have in an anthology. What do you think your staying power is attributed to?
Wow, just to even hear that spoken aloud just makes me want to, shed tears of gratitude that people are still looking. Because, yes, books go out of print and authors can't get contracts. Wow, if I knew the answer to that, I guess I could write a book about it and market it. I started out writing just what I wanted to read primarily. There was no such thing as a black horror market. So it really was just a matter of writing my heart. And I think if there's any one thing I can pin it on, maybe it's that. It's that I was writing my heart. I've been lucky enough to attract readers who either see the world the way I do or are interested in the way I see the world. And I just try to improve my craft all the time. Steve and I listen to courses on tape and, talk about craft quite a bit, actually. So maybe it's a combination of those things, but I also know for a fact that there was a luck component.
Yeah, she's just brilliant, that's all.
Timing is everything. And I was very lucky to come along when I did.
Well, and
hey, let me give you my opinion about my wife.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
In terms of her career, she's the best prepared human being I've ever met.
Oh.
She was not just is brilliant, but she was absolutely prepared brilliantly by her education and her upbringing to be what it is that she is. Her parents poured a gigantic amount of real love, concern, and support into making this woman who she is, and they need mad props. I'm telling you, it is very clear to me that not only does she work very hard, and not only does she just basically have the right stuff in terms of her innate potential, but she was also guided to develop it to absolutely to a T. So I really want to make sure that is clear.
And that's another blessing, Steve found his family of supporters, but it was a tougher road for Steve. He really had to draw. I don't even know where he got it. The belief in himself, coming up at a time when most kids couldn't name a black writer.
Yeah, I very clearly remember being at college and sitting in front of the cafeteria working on a story, and this brother walks up to me and he said, hey, little brother, what are you doing? I said, I'm writing a story. He said, oh, is that an assignment for class? I said, no. He said, did you see it on television? I said, no. Read it in a book? I said, no. And he paused. He said, black people don't write.
Wow.
That's the world that I grew up in. I mean, literally everyone I knew, every single role model that I had growing up told me I couldn't do it. So, pretty bizarre.
And let me tell you, Steve is just a scientist in terms of his potential or human potential. He coaches people all the time, but he somehow knew at a very young age that he would be, over 40, let's say, before he hit his stride, before he reached his audience. And so he prepared himself accordingly, that times were going to have to shift, and he would have to find ways to work within the system. And
well, not only that, but I also had to be certain that I did not become embittered. That if I was to take a look at the negative influences of certain aspects of our culture and racism and things of this nature, I had to be capable of looking straight at those things without feeling anger, without feeling hatred, without thinking that the dominator group was somehow less because, and unusually evil or something like that, because that's the exact same type of thinking that racists use. And I refused to be poisoned by the very people who had disadvantaged me. So it was really trying to figure out, how do I keep myself a healthy human being and keep the kind of belief in myself and in the world that makes it possible to continually want to give them your very, very best. The very best you can do. How can I keep that decade after decade if it's true that I might not hit my stride until the 21st century? And I knew that was a possibility. How do I keep myself that alive? So, I think that a lot of the questions about success are separate from the questions about the quality of your work, because the quality of your work is one thing, and your ability to make a living at it is something else altogether.
That's true.
That's a really good point.
You cannot confuse those two things. If you confuse those two things, it will drive you crazy.